So.
All right, we're on air.
On air.
LOZ!
All right, so like EverTomorrow being a science fiction site, we're trying to get books onto it, short stories onto it, um, podcasts related to sci-fi topics onto it. This is kind of like that. We're just people that like and write and read that kind of thing, or get us the idea of maybe turning this into like a review club.
Oh, that'd be a lot of fun, actually. Especially, even get a
Oh
chance
yeah.
to talk about some of the stuff we've posted a little bit.
Well,
Oh,
like if we all read the same book, maybe, or we all went to
Ah, book
the
club.
same movie. Yeah.
can the books have pictures?
Can the books just not be depressing? It's
That
really
You,
my only thing.
you never know what you're going to get until you get it. I can't make guarantees.
that's fair enough.
Me and science fiction have had a somewhat rocky relationship over the years. Like around the time that I got through high school and after the umpteenth book that was about some form of horrendous dystopic future or another, I was just like, done!
Oh yeah.
Don't you get a little bit tired of the dystopian future that's on Earth?
That's, horrendously awful, and even when the protagonists are slightly victorious at the end, everything is still awful.
Oh yeah. Well, I love going into a sci-fi movie, and then 10 minutes in, I can imagine that the people who are making the film, their first discussion was, "How can we make something like Blade Runner, dude?" I love sci-fi, but just kind of like the horror genre, I, it you have like a front runner that makes something, and then you kind of go through a period of like people play with it a little bit, and then too many people emulate the same thing.
What, you mean like
Sci-fi.
Alien? How every single movie wants to be Alien?
uh, yeah.
Even Resident Evil desperately wanted to be aliens.
Resident Evil desperately wanted to be a good movie, so.
Ha ha, heyo.
What
Not that desperately.
oh, hey-oh!
No, I was thinking.
Actually, real first, shouldn't we do some kind of introductions as well?
Well,
Oh
I'll
yeah.
put those kind of things into the comments and the description. But yeah.
Or at least because this is a thing I do, every time we do these videos, I want to be able to say, hey, I'm Jessie Lynn. You can see
Yeah,
other face paints at jljonesart.tumblr.com. And today's face paint is based off of David Mack's Tiger Lily from the Kabuki series.
oh wow, that's really cool.
The face paint is good. The comic book, on the other hand, I will say nothing.
Remember,
Oh
you
god.
didn't even read past Circle of Blood. And by the way, you didn't even read Circle of Blood. You read 2 pages for a coloring class.
And I only mention that because we've had quite the epic argument over this. I think
Which
we'll
drives me
pick up
insane
his
because especially when you mentioned what you had actually read, I was like, I can't even call bullshit hard enough. Once you get past Circle
what?
of Blood
What? Just
even.
because my eyes are brown? Come on. Who's stereotyping here?
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that one in a while.
You know, when I
But
was going to school, David Mack was one of the most important things going on at the time in comics. And I don't hear that much about Kabuki anymore. Not even nostalgically do I hear that much about it.
I
I
know
haven't heard
that
much
David
about it
Mack
either.
has his hands in a lot of other things. I actually watch him on Tumblr and Twitter, and he constantly reblogs himself, and it's mostly about how much Daredevil work he's been doing. Like, he's gotten his feet into media, so he's doing a lot more of that.
Is he doing something with Daredevil?
Yeah, he seems to to have been part of the people working on the Netflix series, if
Oh,
for
cool.
nothing else than for like some kind of consulting, because quite a bit of the Netflix series has taken a great deal of influence from several of the storylines that he personally worked on.
Yeah. I gotta watch that.
It's actually really
Netflix,
good. I really like it.
no, this really is the age of, like, digital television. Like, I don't even use cable TV anymore, and to keep this PG, screw, and it deserves a much larger four-letter word. Screw those runts.
No, I really
That
wish that
new
I could get rid of
satellite.
it in my house, and we can't because like Scott is still needs to get the sports channels,
Yeah,
and
Yeah, fair enough.
that's like the only
I
way that you can
that
affordably get all of them.
yeah,
Other,
that's like the only thing that's not competitive right now is the sports channels
yeah,
with
because
Netflix.
otherwise you end up paying like $300 for a year's worth of only football or something like that. It's weird.
That's
Yeah,
so crazy.
but it's like I was reading a statistic, um, that something like somewhere roughly around the number of 100,000, and I read this last year, so with a grain of salt, please. But something like over 100,000 had switched from some kind of cable or satellite or traditional cable system to Netflix or DirecTV completely and totally. And I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
In fact, for me personally, aside from the fact that I got screwed hard over by DirecTV, because they changed people's contracts, for people who had been long time. We had been with DirecTV for like 10 years, and when we first signed on, it was just regular. It was just a normal contract. Like, oh, there's a lot of interference coming in the audio. Somebody's got
Kind
their
of.
audio a little high, I think. I'm gonna turn mine down a little bit. 'Cause if you have your audio too high, it can reverb into your mic. Okay, it seems to be going down a little bit.
You know what you were saying about DirecTV?
Yeah. So they changed it from the regular subscriber model over to more like a cell phone model. Like, if you have to pay such and such upfront. I don't, man. I I feel bad because it's been so long that I haven't, like, I don't remember. I don't have a cell phone either, so I don't really understand quite how cell phone. It's kind of like a contract, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so what happened? What we got a couple months behind and a bad winter where we were really kind of tied down on money, and it got a couple months behind, and they tried to charge us like $500 because we were 2 months behind, and we were like, nope. I tell you what, we will do. We'll send you back your receiver, and you can have your crummy service. And I set up a computer upstairs, hooked it into found the proper cables to hook it into a VCR. The VCR went through the cable throughout the house, and we used free Hulu until we could afford to buy it. And I have like a little box too, so we can have like the remote control. But I have Netflix and Hulu, and actually YouTube comes through that too.
Hey, sweet.
So instead of
Yeah.
paying upwards of $60 for even basic local channels, now I get pretty much all the regular series for something like 16 dollars a month.
And it's a big difference.
Yeah, and I can choose what I want to watch, or I can eat up a series or something.
Shocking.
I know.
The only
I
thing I would really like that I miss, I haven't been able to get a chance to watch any of the new Cartoon Network shows that people keep making such a big deal about.
Yeah,
Because Cartoon Network really makes it hard to get their stuff unless you have cable.
yeah. They put some of it online, but
Not even very much, and it's
Yeah.
like this arcane process of trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm like, I just want to see what the big deal with this Steven Universe thing is about. Can I please
Oh
Oh
have
my
yeah.
god, I saw a YouTube
And
video on that. It looks amazing.
everybody is talking about Steven Universe.
I've heard
I'm
nothing but
kind
good
of tired.
things. And, from the little clips I've seen, it seems actually really funny.
Mm. The music is good too. I was reading I was watching some kind of and it just I can't remember it, but it was my brain remembers two things: is that it was amazing, and I kind of went,
All right, so you guys kind of like the idea of maybe doing this as a something that we all come back to and talk about that we've all experienced.
Run
yeah,
it, Gab! What can I
yeah.
say?
Do you
It's a
want to
great
leave it?
reason to keep doing face paints, otherwise I'm just like, I don't know, I'm lazy.
Hmm.
I like
I was thinking we might maybe just do this once a month
okay.
and set like a regular date for it.
And then I'll convince Marlon. Maybe he and I can do just, oh, because it has to be through you, Georgia. Never mind.
Yeah, well, I can commit to like once a month easily, and I like the idea. I mean, I kind of like it being open format. Like just bringing up topics. Or like we can talk about new things we're going to do. It isn't up yet, but I hate space.
I'm so
I just
excited.
Yeah, I need to look at that this weekend.
I'd
Spoilers,
really
it's
be
actually
interested to
really
see your
funny.
take on it. I'd really be interested to hear your take on it, Georgia.
It's so hard for me to imagine that this is all the stuff that people are actually doing.
Say that again.
It's listening to it, it really sounds like it's too scripted to possibly be just what people are doing.
Some of it is. Some of the script is based off of what people are doing in the game.
Well, then never mind. You do gold, so keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Although the pockets thing was totally about a guy that I remember at my last job who nobody liked because he wouldn't do stuff. And he had this annoying. We called him Pockets too. That's totally real. Because he would just literally sit around with his hands in his pockets, and if you told a funny joke, he would literally sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, 6-inch pianist. Yeah, yeah, I love pianos too. In fact, something funny about pianos. Dude, remember those cartoons where pianos would fall on people?" And like you're already a year ahead. Like I'm on to bigger and better things, buddy. Don't choke on dinner. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, to say the least. If
And I,
anything, I hope that comes across.
I just turned in the script for Robots in Disguise #2.
Ooh,
Also super excited about that.
It's been really fun getting to know the Transformers fandom. They all
yeah.
seem to be on Tumblr.
Yep.
Oh,
Good
really?
heavens, so many.
And I got the chance to do a phone call with Marguerite Scott, who is one of the writers on the show.
Oh wow.
Um, and
Good show.
really, really fantastic person. And I don't know if you guys saw that they just did a USA Today article on all of the new female characters that have been showing up in Transformers.
Oh,
And her character that she is most associated with has just appeared on Robots in Disguise for the first time.
cool.
So you're like, so I did see that tweet where you're all like, "Hey, fair game."
Hmm. I can use anything that's on the show. I not only can use, but they really would like me to.
That's awesome.
It would be great if the comic book was popular enough to go for a while. That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. A nice steady paying gig is always nice.
So So yeah, everybody watching, Robots in Disguise. It's gonna be a comic. So it's a thing you all need to get behind.
It's
Yeah,
robots.
that would be
If you don't
great.
like robots, what the hell are you doing with your life? Get fun.
Yeah,
Who doesn't
every
like
one of
lasers?
the comics so far has had multiple action sequences, and I've gotten to see some of Priscilla's her pencils and her inks that she sent back, and it's so good. It's just really, really good. And sometimes you can work on a series and you feel like what you're trying to say isn't really cross in the art.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name names, but I have a series I'm thinking about right now that things are going that way, or,
Oh
or
dear, oh dear.
have gone that way.
Yeah.
But this
Oh
it's
yeah.
not that it's not the case in this one.
That's good. You always like to enjoy. It's always nice to enjoy what you're doing.
All right,
Like I
so
don't know if you're reading a cool story about robots who shoot lasers that turn into things. You know.
See what I'm about to say?
I was gonna say this. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. This has been a really good test. I want to see if this gets up to YouTube.
Okay.
Be nice,
Alright, here's
particularly if
hoping.
it's a shorter one, to see if it works. All right, here's hoping.
Thank you.
Okay.
Signing off. See you guys later.
Sayonara.